Protesters demand that Councilmen Kevin De León and Cedillo resign at the LA City Council's first in-person meeting in almost 2 weeks.
Partners no more. Find out why Adidas has cut ties with Ye, formerly known as Kanye West.
And the UK's newest Prime Minister makes history. Learn what this means to one University of Edinburgh student.
Annenberg TV News is next.
The LA City Council was back at work this morning, but notably missing were 2 council members still refusing to resign. Hi, I'm Tracy Wang.
And I'm Daniel Dana. The council found a way to make progress on a few fronts, despite dozens of protesters making their voices heard. A group of protesters once again disrupted the flow of business this morning during a city council meeting. Still, council members were able to conduct business, and that's because they were wearing headsets meant to block the chants and calls of protesters.
I think it's more a question of just trying to get through each meeting and figure out how do we do our work with the least possible disruption, not just the least possible disruption of us, but also the least possible disruption that we would have of the people who want to come in here and be heard. I'm not going to try to stifle people from expressing that passion, but at the same time, we do have meetings to run.
Kevin De León did not show up to today's meeting despite widespread calls for his resignation after a leaked audio recording revealed racist comments by him and 2 other council members. Instead, De León spoke with radio host Tavis Smiley, where he accused Curran Rice of being invited to the secret meeting where the racist audio was recorded.
I certainly was not invited to that meeting. I didn't know about the meeting. And for him to throw me under the bus like that, I think is just a sign of desperation. They needed to step down. That was untenable. Their presence was untenable. They subsequently left the room, but they've yet to resign. And that's really what I think will start this process of healing.
Also today, the council voted unanimously to hold a special election to fill the seat of former council president Nuri Martinez in April 2023. This comes after her resignation 2 weeks ago. A major fashion franchise now joins a list of companies that have dropped Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, due to his anti-Semitic remarks. Annenberg Media's Marco Ramirez joins us with the story.
That's right. Adidas has become the latest company to end its relationship with the rapper, who has previously said he could say whatever he wanted to and keep the collaboration.
I could say anti-Semitic things and Adidas can't drop me. Now what?
Apparently, that isn't the case. Adidas ended its longtime partnership with the rapper today after a series of controversial and anti-Semitic remarks made by Ye. He has been dropped by multiple companies like Balenciaga, JP Morgan, and CAA, to name a few. In a statement, Adidas said, quote, "Adidas does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech. Ye's recent comments and actions have been unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous, and they violate the company's values." On Sunday, anti-Semitic demonstrators hung banners above the 405 freeway supporting Ye and were photographed giving Nazi salutes. Religious leaders say we need to speak up against this type of hate.
I don't think being afraid is the right answer. Calling things out, being vigilant is the right answer, and being proud of who we are, standing up for what we're about.
Students here at USC are showing a bit of mixed reactions when it comes to the recent Kanye controversy. Here's what they had to say.
I think I was very shocked to see with the type of rhetoric that he came out with the type of platform that he has. I think no one really saw that coming, but he's still a very talented artist, musician, producer, everything, even coming from the Jewish community. Obviously, I very much condone everything that he stated with amongst the Jewish community and with all the type of rhetoric that he's saying, but I still listen to his music. I still think it's good.
With regard to Kanye's comments, I don't really agree with what he said just because I know the value of Jews in our society. And I really used to like his music, but now that I've heard his comments and I'm trying to sway away from his music just because I don't agree with his values and beliefs.
From a branding standpoint, one marketing expert says it might be hard for Ye to make a comeback.
I mean, it's possible he could come back. You know, if he became the poster boy for mental health. I don't see it happening with him and it would be a long road back for him.
Amongst those condemning anti-Semitism is Ye's ex-wife Kim Kardashian, who posted a tweet saying, "Hate speech is never okay or excusable. I stand together with the Jewish community and call on the terrible violence and hateful rhetoric towards them to come to an immediate end." According to Variety, Adidas estimates the move to end ties with Ye will cost the company nearly $246 million this year.
Thanks, Marco. More bad news for the WNBA superstar in a Russian prison. A court near Moscow rejected Brittany Griner's appeal of her 9-year prison sentence. The court ruled that Griner will serve about 8 years in prison. The basketball player, who turned 32 last week, was detained in February for smuggling and possessing cannabis oil. The Biden administration offered a prisoner swap with Russia, but they have yet to respond. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan released a statement on behalf of the Biden administration saying they admire the affected families for their courage and will continue fighting for Griner's release.
And Britain has a new prime minister, the third in 3 months. Rishi Sunak will replace Liz Truss, who served just 45 days on the job. Sunak is the first person of color and first non-Christian to hold the job. At 42 years old, he is also the youngest prime minister in Britain's history. A University of Edinburgh student and English citizen says he faces a lot of challenge with a shattered Conservative Party.
It is a great thing that Rishi Sunak is breaking a lot of ceilings and that he is a representative of a lot of British people. However, I think that there's such a thing as having the wrong person doing the right kind of representation. The choices of the Tory party actually go against a lot of immigration and a lot of the things that I think a lot of British people of colour want from their government.
Under usual circumstances, British prime ministers are chosen in a general election every 5 years. With both Truss and Sunak, the country's leader was not chosen by the vote of the general population. Instead, members of the Conservative Party chose the party's leader, who then became prime minister. A UCLA professor who specializes in British politics says party rules simplify the process.
Because of their party rules, they didn't have to go to this general election among all their members. They were able to reinstate, they finessed those rules really well. They were able to reinstate a new leader in a week. Just having prime minister after prime minister, of course, isn't ideal. But when you have a really unpopular prime minister, a party that's internal rules and regulations allow it to quickly supplant that person with a much more popular leader is much more effective than having to call a general election.
The Prime Minister has already made cabinet announcements and has said his emphasis is on continuity and stability.
Medical experts and student athletes are closely watching the NCAA trial surrounding chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, and the death of former USC football player Matthew Gee. Gee was 49 at the time of his death in 2018. According to the CTE Center at Boston University, he was diagnosed with mid-level stages of traumatic brain injury. Gee's wife Alana is suing the NCAA for $1.8 million in damages. A therapist who specializes in sports injuries emphasizes the dangers of multiple hits to the head.
A lot of times in football and other sports are like, oh, it's no big deal. Like, he should just go right back in, maybe get hit again and again. We're starting to get these repetitive brain injuries because once it's already rattled, it's already, like, I don't know, I guess to use like modern terminology, like the brain's shook, for lack of a better word. And now that you keep injuring it, the damage keeps piling on, and you start seeing even worse outcomes with some patients.
In recent years, the NCAA has revived its policies. Students who demonstrate concussion-like symptoms must be removed from practice or games and be evaluated by a doctor. Players can only return if a concussion is no longer suspected. It is also required that trained medical personnel are present at all competitions and available at all practices. A former high school football player says parents should think twice before letting their kids play football.
You can't ban it per se, but I hope that it's less popular in the next 10 years. Children should never be exposed to head trauma. Nobody really should be, but children especially should never be exposed. I would be hesitant to even let my kid play high school football, and that's somebody who loves football.
Gee's trial is expected to last for about 1 month and could impact the future of the NCAA in cases claiming damages.
A panel of USC experts from law, politics, and journalism explored the implications of the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The panelists said that law has always been political, and that is especially so in today's Supreme Court. Justices were strategically placed to overturn Roe v. Wade, and they made the point that this widely criticized move has increased polarization in this country.
I'm really interested in like court cases. The Dobbs case was a very important moment for me over the summer because it was just very overwhelming, and it was a big moment, just overturning precedent. So I was interested in coming. I really like speaker events, so it would be interesting to, hear some experts talk. A lot of the speakers talked about just how incredible the polarization is right now, but especially on the court. And the court is supposed to be a non-political branch of our democracy.
Abortion will be on the ballot in California this November. Voters will decide whether the right to an abortion and to contraception should become part of the state constitution.
Construction of LA Metro's Purple Line has been put on hold because of safety issues. Injuries range from broken bones and cuts to even one death. The worker who died was hit by a construction vehicle. It's been 10 years since an LA Metro worker was killed on a job. Since July of last year, 32 workers have been injured. LA Metro sent this to the contractor. Metro has written letter after letter expressing concerns with safety issues on the project. TPOG, the contractor, has been unable or unwilling to take proper steps to address Metro's safety concerns. We talked to a USC labor law professor.
I think that labor laws are generally effective in and of themselves. I think a real need to make sure that people are in sync and in agreement. You talk to the people who were there, you find out what's going on, and you compare what is there in the data against the policies as well as the legal rules so that issues are addressed. LA Metro certainly has an interest in exploring this to figure out, why are these things happening? What can we do to fix it and get this job done in a safe way?
When it is finished, the Purple Line will run from Wilshire and Western Avenue to Union Station in downtown LA. Construction is scheduled to resume after reviewing safety practices over the next 2 weeks. The line should be ready for riders in 2024.
USC welcomes a new Associate Dean of Religious Life. Meet him next.
And Dia de los Muertos celebrations begin on Olvera Street. Stay tuned as we go live to the festivities.
Struggling with midterm stress? One counselor gives some tips on how to best manage the pressure of this overwhelming time.
Worried your friend's struggling but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could write him a text or knit him a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write him a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
The celebration of Dia de los Muertos is getting started tonight on Olvera Street. Let's go live to reporter Hannah Joy to show us what's going on right now.
The Dia de los Muertos celebration first originated in Mexico. It's when families welcome back the souls of their deceased loved ones. It's not a time to mourn, but it's a time to remember and reflect. The celebration has evolved over the years to incorporate pre-Columbian, Aztec, and Mayan Catholic rituals. The celebration is being kicked off today at Olivera Street, where you can see an indigenous blessing ceremony with face painting, altars, and entertainment. You do not want to miss this great event. We even have none other than the coordinator, Ms. Valerie, here to have a small interview. How are you doing today, Valerie?
Very well, thank you.
So, what is the Day of the Dead celebration all about?
Well, it's where we remember our friends and families that passed away during this time. So we love to have all of the decorations, our altars, our ofrendas out for our public to see.
And how do people celebrate?
Usually at home, they build their own altars or ofrendas, and they put pictures of their family and their loved ones, things that they used to like to do or eat, to remind them and bring those memories back.
And so what can we expect during the days to come? Because I know it's until like November 2nd. So.
Right, the actual Day of the Dead is November 2nd, but we here on Olvera Street do from the 25th through the 2nd of November a procession, and we do entertainment on the weekends.
And then who are the entertainers here?
Well, we have our Grupo Tatalejos. We have Sergio and his group of Teatro del Barrio. We have our wonderful ballet people, which is Ballet Coco, Ballet Bravo, our banda Águila. Oh, they're so great. So it's wonderful to come and see all of them.
Thank you so much, Valerie. The event is from October 29th through November 2nd, from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. You still have time to make it to this event. I am Hannah Joy, reporting for Annenberg Media News.
Thank you, Hannah. Brandon Harris is the new Associate Dean of Religious and Spiritual Affairs here at USC. He aspires to guide all students regardless of their religion.
Our main mission in the Office of Spiritual and Religious Life is to help students find a place of meaning, belonging, and connection. SC is a massive campus, right? And so with so many students, with so many faculty and staff, we want to be that one place on campus where somebody knows your name, that somebody cares about you, that somebody knows what your interests are, and helps you to feel like you have somewhere that somebody cares about you on campus. I say the Office of Religious and Spiritual Life is here to be a support for any student. It doesn't matter your religious background or if you have none at all.
Harris graduated from Lincoln University and got a master's at Emory, where he interned at the Ebenezer Baptist Church. That's the church where Martin Luther King Jr. was once a pastor.
October and November are the most stressful months for college students. Many are looking for ways to fight on as they push through crunch time.
I find journaling is really helpful. Just a good way to get stuff out of your brain and onto paper. Sometimes that kind of clears up room for other stuff.
De-stressing, I think sometimes you just kind of have to accept certain stuff. Like if you think you did bad like on a certain test, you have another one coming up, like you just got to put it out of your mind, because it's not going to change anything at that point. But also maybe like just make time for yourself. I know it's what everybody says, but like I think it's the only thing to do. Like go outside or like dedicate some time to your hobbies, that kind of stuff.
Mental health counselors are available at USC to help students navigate demanding schedules and assignments. Dr. Kelly Greco shared some tips on how students can get through the semester.
Prioritizing sleep and making sure that you go to sleep at a decent time, a structured time. So I always tell students, if you want to go to bed at midnight, then you set your alarm on your phone to go off at 11:30 and then transition 30 minutes to bedtime. But to always prioritize the basics, eating, sleeping, and enjoyable activities. That's the first thing we take off our plate, and it's the first thing we need to keep on.
We wish students good luck on their midterms as they cross the finish line. For more support, My Student Health and Mindful USC have more resources, including mental health workshops throughout the year. Now it's definitely getting a little chillier out there, right, Daniel? Marissa, how's the weather looking today?
It is, Tracy and Daniel. It is finally getting cooler. It's starting to feel like fall. Hey Trojans, it's great to be back. I hope you all had a great fall break. Let's take a look at those current conditions. We are currently at 71. The evenings have been so nice lately, but let's take a look at the rest of the forecast. I know we're going into Halloween weekend, so I think you're going to like what you see. We have a slight dip in temperatures Wednesday and Thursday with highs in the low 70s, but it does get a little bit warmer on the weekend. We have a high of 76 on Friday and 79 on Saturday. But look at those evenings. It's really chilly. And if we're being honest, I know you don't care how cold it is in whatever costume you're wearing this weekend, but just be aware it is chilly, so bringing a light jacket might be a good decision. Now let's see what's going on in sports.
USC takes tennis title in Malibu. USC football turns its attention towards Tucson. And women's basketball gets ready to tee off its season. All that and more coming up next on Sports.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Welcome back to ATVN Sports. I'm Will Cambardella.
And I'm Bianca Bueno. USC football is back in business after a long bye week. The Trojans are now focused on preparation for their road trip to Tucson against the Arizona Wildcats Saturday. The Trojans come off of a tough loss to Utah 2 weeks ago, which marks their first loss of the season. They have over an entire week to analyze their defensive game plan. At today's practice, cornerback Max Williams discussed the team's focus following the break.
We just have to improve. Can't go out there and play like that. Just in all areas get better, whether it's in tackling, whether it's in coverage, and communication, just enhancing everything we do. And that's something we took a focus on during the bye week last week.
You know, Will, I see this bye week coming as a blessing for the Trojans, considering that they have two injured main players in Jordan Addison and Eric Gentry. This was just some great rest period that they needed. What do you think?
Normally, I wouldn't like USC sitting on a loss like that for 2 weeks, a really heartbreaking, tough effort. But when you see how far away this defense is to being able to compete with the top teams in the Pac-12, I actually like that they have 2 weeks to make those corrections because they have a lot of work to do.
That is for sure.
The World Series matchup is officially set with baseball's Fall Classic pitting the Houston Astros, making their fourth appearance in 6 years, against the Philadelphia Phillies, playing playoff baseball for the first time since 2011. This series is a classic battle of David versus Goliath. The Astros were the AL's top team in the regular season and have yet to lose a playoff game in sweeps of Seattle and the Yankees. The Phillies were the last team to clinch a playoff berth with just 87 wins, but upsets over the 101-win Braves and the red-hot Padres had their confidence at an all-time high. First pitch of Game 1 is Friday night. Bianca, who do you like to take this series?
You know, well, I'm going to take the Phillies in this one. I don't believe it's going to be a 4-game series. I believe it going to 6 or 7. But, I mean, they've got Bryce Harper, who is on fire, had that amazing home run that everyone saw. We've got a great depth in the lineup, and it's going to be a great one.
Yeah, Philadelphia shouldn't even be in this series. The only reason they got in is because they expanded the playoffs. The Houston Astros know how to play in this situation. They've been absolutely dominant in the postseason, particularly with pitching. They've only allowed 2 runs or more than 2 runs in a playoff game twice out of 5 games. Phillies are going to have their hands full.
Well, we shall see. It's the playoffs, isn't it?
It is.
USC women's basketball is up in San Francisco today for Pac-12 Media Day to tip off the new season. The team sent forward Caddy Sissoko and sophomore forward Raya Marshall to represent USC. As the Pac-12 preseason honorable mention for the all-Pac-12 team, Marshall is pumped and spoke highly of the team chemistry despite half the roster being new transfers. The Trojans face Cal State LA on Sunday at home for their exhibition game.
I feel like for us, it's like our chemistry. Like we're all connecting very well. It's just like a ton of positive energy. Coach Beth is bringing us. I feel like we're all just like buying in. Like we're all bought in. It's just we're all on one accord. That's really helping us as we get closer to our season.
That's going to wrap it up for sports today. Let's send it back to news.
Thanks, Will. Coming up next in a new segment, we'll show you the TikTok trend you'll be dying to see on your For You page this week.
Lávate las manos por 20 segundos como Elmo.
Hay algo especial acerca de este lugar. Se siente como un hogar, una sala debajo del cielo y los árboles. Rodeado de aire fresco y la naturaleza. Todo aquí para que lo disfrutemos y para que lo cuidemos. Tenemos la responsabilidad de cuidar de esta tierra que llamamos casa, de preservarla para las generaciones que vienen. Cada acción pequeña contribuye para un cambio mayor y cada uno de nosotros podemos hacer la diferencia. Hay algo especial acerca de este bosque. Es un lugar donde se hacen recuerdos y juntos podemos preservarla y protegerla.
A new TikTok trend to a slowed-down version of the song Remember by Becky Hill has been spreading across the app this month.
Only when I ain't in bed on my own, and I wake up and I see your name in my phone.
In the trend, a group of people will duck down, turn the lights off, and shine their flashlights at someone standing behind them, who will then lip-sync the lyrics. They then alternate between the lyrics, creating an illusion that there are special effects involved.
It's come up a couple of times. Usually, even Khloe Kardashian's come up doing it, so I get it like at least like 5 times every day.
My initial thoughts were that it was really cool, like funny. I would have loved to do it with my friends. But it looks like something that requires a lot of like organization and coordination. So to make a video like this, probably we would need props, learning the song, dividing like tasks, what each person does.
There are currently over 370,000 videos to the song, with celebrities such as Kim Kardashian and her daughter North using the sound. And I might be one of them next.
Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Tracy Wang.
And I'm Daniel Dana. For more coverage, watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Annenberg Media. Good night.